Hey y'all, welcome back to Album Quickies. So I thought I'd do something a little different this time around. Instead of just one album, I'm going to try 3 albums. And I kind of just want to get a feel for whether or not just one focus or knocking out multiple in one video works better for y'all. So by the end of this video, just leave a comment about which one you would rather me do. I kind of like the idea of throwing the multiple albums in one video sort of format into the picture because it just lets me get through more of y'all's picks and, you know, talk about more albums. And if I have not a lot to say about certain albums, it also gives me an excuse to shove a bunch of albums I don't have much to say in one video. And then maybe I could do like just the one album per video for like bigger albums like Donda or, you know, things that I have a lot to say about or are much bigger beasts to tackle. So I'm gonna give this a try and just let me know what y'all think. The picks in this video are taken from the comment section of my previous quickie, the 17 by XXXTentacion review, and if you left a comment on that video with a suggestion, don't worry, I've put all of the suggestions y'all put into a list, and if you got more suggestions or you weren't there in that video, then just leave a comment here and I'll add whatever picks on this video to the list, and so on and so forth with every preceding quickie. Just throw it in the comments, I'll add it to the list, and then I'll pick something from the list. So today we're going to be talking about 3 different albums of definitely different walks of life, let's say. The first album I want to talk about today comes from Kaisersaurus, who says, "Thoughts on the Blueprint," by Jay-Z, you know. The Blueprint by Jay-Z is a solid album. This is not an album that I'm just checking out now. It's one that I've heard many, many times before. I will say, when I initially heard the album, like 1 or 2 years ago, it definitely stuck with me a little bit more. Coming to re-listen to the album, doing it today, I haven't heard this album in a minute, and I'll say it shrunk on me a little bit, but before I get into that, I should probably give my general thoughts on Jay-Z. Jay-Z, I think, is a man with many high highs, many mediocre, boring lows. I haven't heard all of his albums. In fact, I've actually only heard the Blueprint and the Black Album, if we're not counting, like, Watch the Throne. The Black Album, I really like 2 tracks from it, being 99 Problems and Lucifer. But beyond that, I found that album pretty boring. I think feature-wise, Jay-Z has some very strong features and some very weak features across the framework. I don't know. I feel like Jay-Z is a legend. I feel like he's a bombastic personality. I feel like when it comes to skill and it comes to like technique or flow or consistency, he leaves something to be desired, but he does have some moments where he really hits nice and hard. A lot of those moments are on the Blueprint. Now, with these quickies, I'm kind of undecided on whether or not I should talk about every track or just talk about the album as a whole or something in between. So if I don't mention a track in any of these quickies, it's not personal. And if I mention every track in an album, it's probably because I have something to say about it. So, the Blueprint starts out with The Ruler's Back, which I don't know if it's controversial to say this, but I actually like this version of the song more than the Slick Rick version from the 80s. I will say, as far as the production goes on this album, given that the production is spread across multiple producers, some of the production is pretty hit or miss or all over the place. I will say I like the beat on The Ruler's Back, but it is certainly one of the cheaper sounding beats. It's definitely not quite as bombastic or flashy as some of the other beats, but it's also not as dry as some others. I will say the horn section in the hook area, you can obviously tell they're VSTs. It sounds pretty cheap, but it still works and it's still funky. I like how it sounds, despite the fact that it doesn't really sound like a real horn. But I don't think that really affects it too much. Obviously, the opening line in Ruler's Back, you got the fucking thing in Graduation's opening track, Good Morning. It's a solid opener. I think it sets the stage pretty well. I probably would have liked it to be a little flashier, but overall, I think it's a very solid song. Then you get over to The Takeover, which is a Nas diss track. I like it, but it's a little long, and I'm not really too familiar with the history of the beef between Jay-Z and Nas, and I think Mobb Deep is in there too. I'm not really super educated on that, and it's a 5-minute song that I don't really understand a lot of the more detailed things he's talking about. It sounds good. It's a good track, but I don't know. It's not it's not an all-time great for me. If we're talking diss tracks, it's definitely a pretty punchy one, I'll say that. You got Izzo Hova, which is I guess the lead single from this album. So, you know, the Rizzle, I'm on my dizzle, it's like that shit. I'm not going to complain about that shit in the 90s. I feel like if I hear that on a 90s record, I kind of just let it and give it a pass. But the moment 1999 is done and we're in the 2000s, that becomes kind of a problem for me. It just sounds really fucking lame. And I don't know, it's like I don't want to be hearing, for shizzle, my nizzle. It's just a little silly. Going ahead, there's another track on here that kind of does the same thing, Jigga That Nigga, which, you know, kind of does the same, like, oh, I'm gonna just change a word and put the letter in top to make it rhyme, the Snoop Dogg kind of thing. But this song is saved entirely by the fact that it's so funky. The hook is catchy, the beat slaps, it comes. It's definitely a highlight for me. But I don't know, like overall that sort of rhyme scheme sort of thing, I find a little tacky. It's dated. If I'm listening to Doggy Style, I don't mind, but you know, come on now, there's a stopping point for this sort of trend. On the downside of this album, we have Girls, 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 and it's no Motley Crue. I don't know, when I hear this song, I just think of this one video.
I like big girls, pretty kitty girls, really witty girls singing.
I'm not gay
I like
no
the licky
more.
Girls with the nice thighs. I like a good chest, no matter what size. I like the belly folds. I like the six packs. Really tall sleeves and short stacks. From the mom girls to the wild girls.
I don't know. It's this song is definitely one of the lesser for me. I don't care. The beat is good enough, but it's just a real low point for me. I don't care. Jay-Z just doesn't make the song interesting. You know, it's like if you're talking about all the bitches that you fucked, you should make it like fun, like Colt 45 by Afro Man. That song is a great example of what Girls, Girls, Girls kind of fails at, in my opinion. You have songs like All I Need and You Don't Know, which I just listened to this album like 2 hours ago, and I don't remember either of these songs. They're very forgettable for me. But then you have other songs like Holo Jovito, which are pretty bombastic and pretty fun. Overall, though, the absolute highlight of the Blueprint for me, and by far the best Jay-Z song, has to be Heart of the City. Now, when I give a glowing number review to this album later in this video, I'm going to be honest, a big chunk of that is because Heart of the City is such a great, phenomenal song. It's one of my favorite hip-hop songs. It's definitely the best Jay-Z song. The beat is so orgasmically good. Kanye fucking blows it out of the water. The hook is great. I fucking love the writing in it. Like, Jay-Z's whole message of, you know, just the hustle, grind set, and, you know, great memorable lines like, men don't get jealous, that's a female trait, or what you eat don't make me shit. It's just a phenomenal track. I love Heart of the City, and it's a song that I always come back to, even if I don't re-listen to the album that much. I'm always coming back to that track. The next track after that, which is another Kanye one, Never Change, is another solid heavy hitter. I will say, my favorite part of it is Kanye jumping into the hook, which I think he wasn't supposed to, and I think he just put it in there and they kept it, which is awesome because it's the best part of the song. If we're talking about other highlights, I'd be remiss to not talk about Renegade. I hear some people talking about, like, oh, Renegade has a really bad beat, because it's produced by Eminem, who's certainly not one of the best producers out there, but, you know, I like some of his stuff on Eminem's show, and I like this beat enough. I know it's not the best on the album, but it's effective for the song. It works, and it works for the song, and I don't really mind it in that sense. But really, for Renegade, the highlight is the rapping. I mean, Jay-Z does a great job and all, but god damn, talking about Eminem again on my channel, you're welcome, and I know I've talked about this song before, but M's verses on Renegade are so fucking good. They perfectly capture his rebellious, anti-authority sort of snapshot into that part of his career. It's so good. I love re-listening to Renegade. M's verses absolutely kill it, and I like Jay-Z's verses in the beat. Solid song, one of the best in my opinion. Then you got another low point in the album, Song Cry, which is so fucking gay. This song sucks. This song is fucking atrocious. It's like, my thing is, I feel like Jay-Z works best as kind of the character, like he's the pimp of the rap game. He's the Big Daddy-O kind of fucking thing. Kind of like Biggie in Ready to Die. I feel like Jay-Z at his best is kind of like a Biggie at his prime. Then you have a song like Song Cry, which is so fucking gay. It's like, I'm a gangster, I don't cry, so I'ma make the song cry. It's fucking gay, and it lines like, like, I was just fucking a lot of bitches, I was gonna come back to you, I don't care. Don't make me fucking feel sorry for you. Like, he gets a little bit more sentimental in the album closer, the titled Blueprint / Mama Loves Me, and that one I feel works. I feel like, talking about family and that kind of thing, the mafioso daddy pimp kind of guy, that whole shtick works for songs like The Blueprint or Mama Loves Me or whatever, but like, fucking Song Cry is so fucking gay. I'm not a fan of this. You also have some bonus tracks like Lyrical Exercise, which is pretty fun and probably should have been on the album and replaced some of the lesser tracks. And then you got Girls, Girls, Girls Part 2, which a sequel to one of the worst songs in the album, is not really for me. Going over the track list, that's all the tracks. Overall, fucking Blueprint, solid, but it's definitely dragged down by some lesser songs. When it hits hard, it hits really hard. When it falls on its face, it falls on its face hard. And there's a lot in the middle of just mediocre, forgettable songs, or songs that you're just like, that's good. Overall, I don't think The Blueprint's a masterpiece, but it's certainly a solid classic hip-hop album that I think anybody who hasn't heard it and is a fan of rap needs to hear it. I would consider it an essential album. I would also recommend it just on a general hip-hop basis, on the fact of it being pretty damn good. I have my criticisms over it. It's not a perfect album, but overall, I think it's solid. Best tracks are Heart of the City and Renegade. Worst tracks are Song Cry and Girls, Girls, Girls. I give The Blueprint by Jay-Z a modest to low 8 out of 10. The next album we're going to talk about comes from a recommendation from X-Enderface-X. And he said, do 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance. And absolutely, I would love to, because I fucking love this album. To those of you who may not know, The Black Parade, which was also recommended in this comment section by, I'm not going to look up the name, but somebody said, do Black Parade. The Black Parade is my favorite album. I don't think I could do it in a quickie, because, god damn, I love fucking everything about The Black Parade. It's my favorite piece of music. It's my favorite album. Love it to death. And, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, while still not on that 11 out of 10 favorite album of all time level, is still a fantastic album I've heard many times. I fucking love 3 Cheers. I will say, when I first heard 3 Cheers, I was listening to it on YouTube. This was before I got Spotify or any streaming service, and for those of you who don't know, the audio quality on YouTube for music is a lot lower quality than some things like Spotify are. So when I first heard 3 Cheers, I couldn't stand it because one of the problems of the album is the mixing is not that great, and the YouTube version of that album is pretty incomprehensible. Then I re-listened to it on Spotify. I'm like, whoa, this is fucking awesome. So if you have not heard this album, or if you've only heard it on YouTube, try to get your hands on the CD or on streaming services, or fucking pirate it. I don't give a shit. Just try to get a better quality listen to it, because the mixing suffers on the YouTube cut, and other than that, it's a fantastic record. With 3 Cheers, I'm going to be a lot more just kind of wandering around the track list, talking about some of my favorites. Obviously, the opener, Helena, is unbelievable. It's so good. Just sets the tone perfectly for the story, and I guess the story of the album is one of the places where 3 Cheers kind of falters a little bit, because it is a concept album that tells a really fucking interesting story about, like, a Bonnie and Clyde situation where the woman dies, and then the man makes a deal with Satan to fucking kill 100 people to bring his dead lover back to life. But then at the end, it's like, oh, the 100th person he needs to kill is himself. And it's really macabre, great tragedy, great framework. But good God, you cannot gather almost any of that from the lyrics or from the fucking songs. I've paid a lot of attention to this album and pacing together the story of this album through the music is very difficult. That being said, though, I feel like tonally it works. Like, you know, that story mixed with the tone of some of these songs and some of the imagery and the lyrics, I think matches decently. I just would have liked it to have a little bit more punch as a story, a little bit more focus into the sequencing, maybe just be a little bit more clear about where the story is twisting and turning, because it's such a great idea that I think could be expanded on more. But when we're going down to just the songs, Thank You for the Venom sticks out as the best song in this whole thing. Just a phenomenal, amazing chorus. And that's one thing that Black Parade definitely has over Three Cheers, is for the most part, the choruses on Three Cheers are a lot less sticky, but you do have exceptions, like Helena, Thank You for the Venom, The Ghost of You, even I'm Not Okay. Those are all songs with really sticky, memorable hooks, like the best of, or maybe not the best, but the general level of quality of Black Parade. But then you have other songs like Cemetery Drive, and It's Not a Fashion Statement, It's a Death Wish, which, for the life of me, I've heard this album so many times, I cannot remember a single thing about either one of those songs. It's not like they're terrible when I'm listening to it, but they're so fucking forgettable. And even songs I like Give 'Em Hell Kid, I don't really remember anything of that, and that's like the second track, so that should probably stick with me more, because you don't really have the ear fatigue of going through the whole album at that point. It's towards the beginning. I feel like that song should punch more. But then you got other stuff like To the End with its cyanide laced chorus, which is so good, and then the bride and the groom sort of verse at the beginning is the imagery is great. It's just fantastic. You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison is another fucking hype, incredible rock song. I love the channeling in, I think it's the second verse. The chorus is really fun on that. It's just got this wild, great anarchy energy to it that's just phenomenal. A song like I'm Not Okay, I Promise, is a really good, maybe pop punk song. I wouldn't consider the rest of the album pop punk, but I'm Not Okay definitely kind of feels more pop punk. And, I don't know, I'm Not Okay, I like it as a song, but it really doesn't fit on the album, because the rest of the album feels so macabre, and it feels so, gothic, and then I'm Not Okay feels like high school drama, and it just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in the track list. But I do like the song, so it works on that level. It's not like I skip it when I listen to it. It's just a lot of fun. It's a jam, it's a bop. The Ghost of You is heartbreaking. Same with Helena. Both those songs just hit so fucking hard emotionally. They're so catchy. They're so potent. Gerard Way's performance is so hard-hitting throughout the entire album. He's a fantastic performer. Granted, his best chops are definitely on Black Parade, but goddamn, he knocks it out of the park in Three Cheers. The closer, I Never Told You What I Do for a Living, the general song I'm not big on, but the outro to that, where it's like, they gave us 2 shots to the back of the head and it all goes down, or whatever, is so fucking good. The album's also brisky. It's well-paced at just below 40 minutes. It's within the 30-minute range, and it breezes past. It's a good, quick album, and it doesn't stay too long. It does what it needs to do, and it, I think, hits all of the points and bases that it needs to. I think I haven't mentioned Interlude or Hang 'Em High, which are both good. Like I said, at its worst, this album is good but forgettable, and at its best, this is some of the best rock songs out there. Certainly the best to come from emo, other than, Black Parade. Just a fantastic record, and if you've not heard it, you absolutely need to. Just make sure that you get a streaming service version, because, or the CD, because the mixing is definitely the worst part of this album. The mixing holds it back significantly. The vocals are pretty hard to hear in the mix occasionally. It's a lot better on streaming services, but like I said, it's pretty incomprehensible on YouTube. But overall, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge is a near perfect gothic concept album that doesn't deliver too much on story, but delivers on ideas, delivers on great hooks, delivers on a fantastic performance, great guitar riffs, good songwriting, just a solid record all in all. The best tracks on this are Thank You for the Venom, Ghost of You, Helena, and I guess you know what they like to do to us, to guys in prison. It's gay sex. Prison rape, you know? And the worst song is probably, it's not a fashion statement, it's a Death Wish and Cemetery Drive, just because they're forgettable. I don't really remember them much, and I guess if you had to throw a third one, give them Hell Kid, but I do like the way it sounds. It just doesn't, it's not very sticky or memorable for me. But overall, I would give 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge a very gracious 9.5 out of 10. It's not quite a 10, it's not quite perfect, but it's getting pretty close to there. It's a fantastic record. If you haven't checked it out, I absolutely recommend it. And the last album that we'll be talking about comes from my good friend Matthew the Artist, who said, review For Your Ears Only by Matthew the Artist. That's his album that he dropped last year. Very, very cheeky sort of thing, but I actually really want to do that and talk about it because Matt just released his new album Narcissist like a few days ago, and I wanted to review that album, but there's a bit of a conflict of interest because I'm on that album, so I feel like I can't really give it like a fucking glowing review without it looking fake and shit. But I had nothing to do with this other album he made, For Your Ears Only, from 2021. So therefore, I'm going to review it and hopefully send some of y'all to check it out because, spoiler alert, Matt dropped a great fucking album and you guys should absolutely check it out. So, For Your Ears Only is an incredibly short trap album. It clocks in at about 17 minutes and it's only 8 tracks long. And one of those tracks is like a 10-second skit, so, you know, it's 7 songs. Now, going into this album, we kind of have to split the songs in 2 because there's 2 different kinds of songs in this album. There's 2.5 songs on this album that are kind of lo-fi, sad boy trap, and then there's 4.5 tracks on this album that are kind of fun trap bangers that are really tongue-in-cheek and kind of sardonic. Now, the half songs on each end might be a little confusing to some of y'all, and I think that that's kind of where the magic of this album comes in, because we start out with 2 sad boy songs that are pretty good. You got Player, which is alright, not the best on the album, and then you got Not So Perfect, which uses its lo-fi sampling in a really fun, creative way with lots of glitches and lots of sample vocals underneath the main vocal line of the rap verses. And then it leads into the third track, which starts out sad boy. It's the third track is I'm Gone, and it begins with some of the most potent sad boy shit yet on the album, with lines like I ought to make my next album be a posthumous. But then halfway through the song, it kind of fakes out and is like, no, never mind, fuck you, and it just turns into this really fun, bouncy, sardonic little trap banger. I'm Gone is definitely an experimental song, not in the sense of like, oh, this is fucking Death Grips, but more in the sense of it's a really wild and bold choice, I think, switching tones so heavily halfway through the song, and honestly, changing the complete album after that, because like I said, we start out with 2 sad boy songs, and then there's a half a sad boy song, and then halfway through I'm Gone, it just switches into a completely different album, but it feels natural, and it's just really fun how it all goes down. After I'm Gone, you got the Marshall skit, which is like 10 seconds long, and okay, quick question, just a little side note. Y'all remember when Joyner Lucas was dropping his ADHD album and there was a leaked track that he did with Eminem, What If I Was Gay? And then Em was like, what if I was gay? Matt just takes that and just makes that a skit on his album, and it's really fucking funny. And if you've not heard that leaked track from Eminem and Joyner Lucas, I recommend it based solely on the fact that it is so fucking terrible. Just horrible optics, horrible song, but it's so goddamn funny. And that transitions us into the last 4 tracks of the album, which are just complete, just fun, funny, you know, lighthearted, sardonic trap bangers. You got Proud of Me, which literally has a fucking hook that goes, sodomy, 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 yeah, I mean, your acid don't bother me, whoa! It's fucking fun. I will say, though, a biohazard warning for this track. There is an Among Us reference, and don't worry, I've given Matt plenty of shit for including that in his album, but just listen to that fucking dumbass Among Us line he threw in here and just laugh it off. It's not fucking ruining anything. It's just a stupid fucking line. It's fine. Proud of Me is definitely my favorite track on this. It's so just bursting with just this fun energy to it. It's really low key too. It's not like super in your face. It's not super loud. It's just a really lighthearted and fun song. Then you got Top Floor and Brand New Paddock, which are both pretty light, nice little fun trap bangers, but I don't think they're quite the best out of the four. I think Top Floor, I really like the beat change towards the end, and I like at the end of Matt's verse on Brand New Paddock, the beat cuts out and then you get these like hard-hitting drums before it kind of taps its way into the fucking hook. Also, Brand New Paddock is like under 2 minutes, and the majority of these songs are around between 2 and 3 minutes, so everything here just goes at a breeze pace. And then the closer for the album, Face Down, is just Matt dropping funny punchline after funny punchline. He makes fun of Lil Xan in the fucking hook. I like the line that's like, I rap like MF Doom, but I'm white like that NF dude. He says, I'm so dead ass that you can eat my shorts. I will say there's some really fucking bad jokes in here, like, you know you're in trouble when R. Kelly's pissed. Just fucking roll with it. It's really fucking dumb fun. I think it's charming. I just think that it's a good time, and I think some really fucking corny punchlines are just part of that. And also, I should probably mention Matt's flow throughout this album is pretty fucking good. I think his flows on his newest album are a vast improvement, but I think that the kid has some serious fucking talent. Oh yeah, and on Face Down, he also has a fucking line, I'm the same age as Drake's girlfriend, which is pretty funny. If I had to quantify what makes this album so good, it would be brevity. None of the songs are very long. The album is short as fuck. It's under 20 minutes. It breezes past so incredibly fast that you could call it an EP, but it doesn't waste any time. It hits everything it needs to do, and it lasts just as long as it's got material for. And to me, I think that makes it almost endlessly re-listenable. It's an album that I can just pop in, and it's not even just because, like, oh, he's my friend. Believe me, I've fucking clowned on some of my friends' artistic endeavors before. That's not fucking new. But like I said, I really think that Matt created an album that is endlessly re-listenable, endlessly fun, effective. It's just really, really good. I really enjoyed his album, and I've listened to it more than any other album from last year by a wide margin. I think I listened to the new Brockhampton album like 4 times, and that other than that, I mean, I've listened to this Matt album like probably a good like 8 times. It's easy to just pop in, have a great time, and hop out before you spend too much time. It's just a nice little great package. I would say my favorite tracks are Proud of Me, Face Down, and I'm Gone. My least favorite tracks would probably be Brand New Paddock and Player, but I don't think either are bad. And overall, I would say the album left me wanting more, which is why you and I should go listen to Narcissist, the album that he just dropped, which has me in it, and you should listen to, and it's really good. I give For Your Ears Only by Matthew the Artist an 8.5 out of 10. You should check it out, please. And with that, this has been Album Quickies. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Leave a fucking goddamn comment about an album you want me to add to the list of albums I pick for the fucking Album Quickies, and let me know if putting 3 in 1 is a bad move and I should just stick to 1 in 1, or no, just 2 in 1, or no, you should put 4 in 1. Just fucking let me know. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna be dropping 8 tracks remastered soon. Keep an eye out for that, and I'm gonna be dropping a song every month. Album Quickies when I can, some commentary tracks when I can, and I got some big projects by the end of the year. This is Nathan King. Unsubscribe. Mythos. Peace.
We ain't gonna crack any same attacks. Won't change the fact that you're lame and whack. Hate on this rap, we'll aim it back till Nate and Matt fade to black.
You no friend to me, what you said to me, now you dead to me, that's some rest in peace, now you testing me, no addressing me, wait. Ain't no better me coming after you like the letter V,